Hey everyone, welcome back to Senior Care Insights. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's super important for maintaining your independence and enjoying those golden years, to the fullest.
Right.
Leg strength.
Yeah. We often take our legs for granted. They just, get us where we need to go, literally. But as we age, maintaining that strength and that mobility, it becomes even more crucial. It's the key to staying active and engaged and living life on your own terms.
Exactly. And it's not just about, strenuous workouts or anything. We're going to explore some really simple and practical ways to support your leg health through, just diet and lifestyle choices.
Yeah, think of it this way. Just like a house needs a solid foundation, your legs need the right nutrients to stay strong and resilient.
Okay, so let's talk about those nutrients. What are we talking about here? What should we be eating?
Well, one of the most important building blocks is protein.
Okay, protein. It's something we hear about all the time, but why is it so crucial, especially as we get older?
Well, here's the thing. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at holding on to muscle mass. It's a natural process called sarcopenia, and it can really sneak up on you.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah. You might start to notice it as like difficulty getting out of a chair or climbing stairs, or you might feel a bit more fatigued than usual.
Yeah, it's like that feeling when you haven't used a muscle in a while and it's all stiff and weak.
Exactly. And that's where protein comes in. Think of it as the repair crew for your muscles. Every time you move your muscles, experience tiny little tears. And protein is essential for repairing those tears and building new muscle tissue.
So it's not just about bulking up. It's about maintaining what we already have and preventing further loss.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
And studies have shown that seniors who consistently get enough protein throughout the day, they actually experience significant improvements in muscle function and strength. We're talking about a real measurable difference in your ability to move with ease and confidence.
Wow, that's incredible. So how much protein should we be aiming for, and what are some good sources?
Aim for about 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal.
Okay.
That might sound like a lot, but it's easier to achieve than you think. A palm-sized portion of chicken or fish, a couple of eggs, or a cup of Greek yogurt all pack a good protein punch.
I'm already thinking about a delicious salmon dinner. And for those who might not be big meat eaters, there are plenty of plant-based options, right?
Absolutely. Beans, lentils, tofu, nuts, and seeds are all fantastic sources of plant-based protein. And don't forget about protein supplements. They can be a helpful way to bridge the gap, especially for those who might have a smaller appetite or have difficulty chewing.
That's good to know. Now let's shift gears and talk about another powerful nutrient that often gets overlooked when it comes to leg health. Omega-3 fatty acids. I think most people associate them with heart health, right?
Yeah, they do, and they're incredibly important for your heart.
Right, of course.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Omega-3s, especially the types known as EPA and DHA, they play a vital role in combating inflammation throughout the body.
Inflammation. So that's the enemy when it comes to our joints and muscles.
It can be a major culprit, especially as we age. You see, chronic inflammation is like a slow-burning fire that can really contribute to joint pain, stiffness, and muscle fatigue. It's like having rusty hinges on a door. It just doesn't move smoothly.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So omega-3s, they help to put out that fire and keep our joints moving freely.
Exactly. They work their magic by reducing the production of inflammatory chemicals in the body. And beyond just fighting inflammation, omega-3s also support collagen production.
Collagen?
Yeah. Collagen is like the glue that holds our joints and connective tissues together.
Oh, okay.
And its production naturally declines as we get older.
So it's a two-pronged approach, reducing inflammation and boosting collagen. Okay, so what are some good ways to get more omega-3s into our diets?
Fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines are like the superstars when it comes to EPA and DHA.
Oh, those are some good ones.
But for those who prefer plant-based options, chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts are all excellent sources of ALA. Yeah, it's a type of omega-3 that our bodies can convert into EPA and DHA, although not as efficiently.
Got it. I love adding chia seeds to my smoothies. And what about supplements like fish oil?
Fish oil or algae oil supplements can be a helpful way to ensure you're getting enough EPA and DHA, especially if you don't regularly eat fatty fish. But here's a key point to remember. It's not just about adding more omega-3s, it's also about balancing them with omega-6 fatty acids.
Right. I've heard about that ratio before, but why is it so important?
Well, both omega-3s and omega-6s are essential fatty acids, meaning our bodies need them to function properly. But the typical Western diet is heavily skewed towards omega-6s, which can actually promote inflammation when consumed in excess.
Oh, so it's like having too much of a good thing can backfire.
Exactly. The goal is to strive for a healthier balance between the two. Aim for a ratio of about 2.1 omega-6 to omega-3. You can achieve this by incorporating more omega-3 rich foods into your diet and being mindful of sources of omega-6s like processed foods and certain vegetable oils.
Okay, that's a great tip. Now let's talk about two nutrients that are absolutely essential for bone health and, as a result, play a crucial role in leg strength and stability: vitamin D and calcium. Most people know that calcium is important for strong bones, but what role does vitamin D play in all of this?
You're right, calcium is like the building block of our bones, providing that hard, sturdy structure. But here's the catch. Without sufficient vitamin D, our bodies can't absorb and utilize calcium effectively.
So even if we're eating calcium-rich foods, it's not going to do much good if we're deficient in vitamin D.
Exactly. Vitamin D acts like a key that unlocks the door for calcium absorption. It's a powerful partnership that's essential for maintaining bone density and strength, which directly impacts our leg health and mobility.
And we know that as we age, bone density naturally declines, putting us at a higher risk for fractures.
That's right. Conditions like osteoporosis, which weakens the bones, become more common as we get older. But the good news is that ensuring adequate vitamin D and calcium intake can help slow down bone loss and reduce the risk of fractures.
That's incredibly reassuring. So how can we make sure we're getting enough of these bone-building nutrients? What are some good food sources, and should we consider supplementing?
Dairy products like milk, yogurt, and cheese are excellent sources of calcium.
Okay.
And for those who avoid dairy, leafy green vegetables like kale and fortified plant-based milks can also provide a good dose.
Plenty of options there.
Yeah.
But what about vitamin D? Isn't sunlight the best source?
Sunlight is a great source, but here's the thing. As we age, our skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. Plus, many seniors may not get enough sun exposure due to mobility limitations or living in areas with limited sunshine, especially during certain times of the year.
So relying on sunlight alone might not be the most reliable strategy.
Exactly. That's where food and supplements come in. Fatty fish like salmon, which we already talked about for its omega-3 benefits, also contain some vitamin D. And certain foods are fortified with vitamin D, like some cereals and orange juice, but often it's not enough to meet our needs, especially as we get older.
So supplementing might be necessary for many seniors.
It often is, especially for those with limited sun exposure or difficulty absorbing vitamin D from food. Vitamin D3 supplements are generally considered the most effective form, but it's always best to consult with your healthcare provider to determine the appropriate dosage for your individual needs.
That's great advice. Now, before we move on, I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier, the connection between vitamin D and muscle function. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Absolutely. Beyond its role in bone health, vitamin D also plays a crucial role in muscle function. Studies have shown that adequate vitamin D levels are linked to improved muscle strength and balance, which are essential for preventing falls.
Oh, that's so important. Falls are a major concern for seniors, leading to injuries and loss of independence.
Exactly. And strong muscles supported by sufficient vitamin D can help you stay steady on your feet, navigate stairs and uneven surfaces more confidently, and reduce your risk of those dangerous tumbles.
Wow, I never realized the connection between vitamin D and fall prevention. It's amazing how these seemingly simple nutrients can have such a profound impact on our leg strength, mobility, and overall well-being as we age.
It truly is. And the best part is that it's never too late to start prioritizing these nutrients. By making small, consistent changes to our diets and lifestyle, we can empower ourselves to age gracefully, maintain our independence, and continue to enjoy life to the fullest.
I love that positive outlook. Okay, so we've talked about the importance of protein, omega-3 fatty acids, and the dynamic duo of vitamin D and calcium. But let's move beyond just diet. What other lifestyle choices can support leg strength and mobility as we age?
That's a great question. While nutrition lays the foundation, our lifestyle choices play a huge role in how well we age, especially when it comes to our physical abilities. We'll dive into those in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about how the right nutrients can act like a foundation for strong, healthy legs as we age. But as you mentioned, there's more to the story, right?
Absolutely. It's like building a house. You need those strong building materials, but you also need an architect's plan to put everything together. In this case, that plan is our lifestyle choices.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So where do we start with this lifestyle blueprint for strong legs?
One of the most important elements is regular physical activity.
Okay.
And I know some people might be groaning right now thinking, oh no, not exercise.
Yeah.
But hear me out. It doesn't have to be about, running marathons or lifting heavy weights. Even moderate exercise can make a world of difference.
Yeah, I get it. The word exercise can feel intimidating, especially if you haven't been active for a while.
Yeah,
But what you're saying is that moving our bodies regularly is key, even if it's in simple ways.
exactly. Think of it this way. Our muscles are like any other part of our body. If we don't use them, they weaken. Exercise helps maintain muscle mass strength and flexibility, all crucial for good balance coordination and, of course, mobility.
So it's like the use it or lose its principle applied to our muscles.
You got it. And the great news is there are so many ways to incorporate enjoyable physical activity into our lives, even if we're dealing with age-related limitations.
So let's get practical.
Mm-hmm.
What kinds of exercises are particularly beneficial for seniors who want to maintain their leg strength?
Walking is a fantastic starting point.
Okay.
It's low impact, accessible to most people, and easily adapted to different fitness levels. Even a brisk 15-minute walk around the block a few times a week can make a difference.
That's reassuring to hear. And besides walking, what are some other options that might be appealing to seniors?
Swimming and water aerobics are excellent choices. The buoyancy of the water supports your joints while still providing resistance for a great workout. Cycling is another good option, whether it's on a stationary bike at home or a leisurely ride outdoors.
Yeah.
And then there's strength training.
I was going to ask you about that. Strength training can sound a bit intimidating, especially for seniors who might be new to exercise. What's the best way to approach it?
I understand the hesitation, but strength training doesn't have to involve heavy weights or complicated machines. Simple bodyweight exercises like squats, lunges, and even just standing up from a chair repeatedly can be incredibly effective.
Oh, so using our own body weight for resistance. I
Yeah.
like that it's accessible and doesn't require any special equipment.
Exactly. And the key is to start gradually and listen to your body. Don't push yourself too hard, especially when you're just starting out. There are also resources available like fitness classes specifically designed for seniors or certified trainers who can create a personalized program to meet your individual needs and abilities.
That's good to know. But what about incorporating more movement into our daily routines?
That's another fantastic way to stay active without having to set aside a specific time for a formal workout. Instead of always looking for the closest parking spot, park a bit further away and walk. Take the stairs instead of the elevator whenever possible. Do some light gardening or housework. All these activities add up and contribute to overall fitness and mobility.
It's about making those little choices throughout the day that keep us moving. It makes a lot of sense. Now, shifting gears a bit, what about weight management? How does that factor into leg strength and mobility as we age?
Maintaining a healthy weight is crucial for supporting your leg health, especially your joints. Excess weight puts additional strain on your knees, hips, and ankles, which can lead to pain, stiffness, and reduced mobility.
It's like carrying around extra baggage all the time, which can wear down our legs over time.
That's a great way to put it. Losing even a small amount of weight, even 5 to 10% of your body weight, can make a significant difference in reducing joint pain and improving your overall mobility.
That's encouraging to hear. Now, I want to bring up something we haven't touched on yet, sleep. I know it's important for overall health, but how does sleep quality specifically impact our leg health?
This is a really interesting point. Sleep plays a vital role in muscle recovery and repair. When we sleep, our bodies release hormones that promote tissue growth and repair. If we're not getting enough quality sleep, our muscles don't have the opportunity to fully recover from daily wear and tear or exercise.
So sleep is like giving our muscles a chance to recharge and rebuild. And what about inflammation? We were talking earlier about how chronic inflammation can affect our joints. Does sleep play a role there?
It absolutely does. Sleep is essential for regulating our body's inflammatory response. When we consistently don't get enough sleep, it can actually increase inflammation throughout the body, including in our joints.
So lack of sleep can exacerbate those aches and pains we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. Aiming for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night can make a big difference in supporting overall health and mobility, including the health of your legs.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Now, another factor I want to touch on is stress. We often hear about the link between stress and inflammation. How does that play into leg strength and mobility?
Stress is a major contributor to inflammation throughout the body. And as we discussed, inflammation can have a negative impact on our joints and muscles. When we're chronically stressed, our bodies release hormones like cortisol, which can trigger inflammation and disrupt muscle recovery.
So it's like stress is adding fuel to that inflammatory fire we talked about earlier.
Precisely. Finding healthy ways to manage stress, like practicing relaxation techniques, spending time in nature, engaging in hobbies, or connecting with loved ones, can help reduce inflammation and support overall well-being, including leg health.
It's all interconnected, our physical health, our mental and emotional well-being. It's all part of the same equation.
You're absolutely right. And lastly, I want to emphasize the importance of regular checkups with your healthcare provider.
Right.
They can help identify any underlying medical conditions that might be contributing to leg weakness or mobility issues.
That's a great point. Sometimes leg weakness can be a symptom of something else that needs to be addressed medically.
Exactly. It's always best to get a professional evaluation to rule out any underlying health concerns.
This has been so insightful. We've covered so much ground, from the importance of nutrition to the impact of lifestyle choices on leg strength and mobility as we age. What are some key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing is to remember that you have the power to influence how well you age. By making conscious choices about your diet, physical activity, sleep, stress management, and overall health, you can support strong legs, maintain your independence, and enjoy a vibrant life.
I love that empowering message. We're not just passive passengers on this aging journey. We have agency and the ability to make choices that support our well-being.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask for help or support when you need it. Whether it's from a healthcare professional, a fitness trainer, a loved one, or a friend, there are people who can guide and support you along the way.
That's such an important reminder. We're all in this together, and seeking support can make the journey so much easier and more enjoyable. What are your thoughts? What stands out to you as the most important takeaway from our conversation so far? It really is amazing how much control we have over how we age. It's inspiring.
It is empowering, isn't it? We often think of aging as this passive process, but we can actively shape how it unfolds, especially when it comes to maintaining our physical strength and mobility.
Exactly. And we've talked about building that foundation with the right nutrients, the protein, those omega-3s, and the vitamin D and calcium duo.
Right. And then we added on, that lifestyle blueprint with exercise, weight management, sleep, stress reduction. It all really works together.
It's like weaving all these different threads into a beautiful tapestry of healthy aging.
I love that analogy. And here's the thing, it's never too late to start weaving. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, or beyond, you can make choices today that will benefit your leg health and your overall well-being.
That's such an important message. It's not about where you've been. It's about where you want to go and the steps you're willing to take to get there.
Absolutely. And speaking of steps, let's circle back to something we touched on earlier, the risk of falls as we age. It's a serious concern, but as we've been discussing, there's a lot we can do to mitigate that risk.
Right. And we talked about how, strong muscles and good balance are crucial for preventing those falls, and how those are influenced by nutrition, exercise, and even vitamin D levels. Are there any other, specific tips or strategies that you would recommend for reducing fall risk?
Well, one of the simplest yet often overlooked strategies is to be mindful of your environment.
Okay.
Remove tripping hazards like loose rugs or clutter. Make sure your home is well lit, especially hallways and stairways. Use non-slip mats in the bathroom. These small adjustments can make a big difference in creating a safer space.
Those are such practical tips, and
Yeah.
it makes so much sense. It's about being proactive and taking those small steps to prevent accidents before they happen.
Exactly. And beyond just, the physical environment, there's also the importance of being aware of your own body and any limitations you might have.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to use assistive devices if you need them, like a cane or a walker. They can provide extra stability and support, allowing you to move with more confidence.
That's such a good point. It's not about giving up independence. It's about, being smart and using tools that can actually help you maintain your independence and mobility.
Exactly. And if you're ever unsure about something, or if you're experiencing any changes in your balance or mobility, don't hesitate to talk to your healthcare provider. They can assess your individual needs and recommend specific strategies or exercises to address any concerns.
I love that reminder to advocate for yourself and seek professional guidance when you need it. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to bring up one last topic that I think is really important: the emotional aspect of aging. Maintaining our physical health is crucial. But what about our mental and emotional well-being? How do those play a role in our overall health and vitality as we get older?
That's such an important point. We often focus solely on the physical aspects of aging, but our mental and emotional health are just as important. Feelings of isolation, loneliness, or depression can actually impact our physical health, including our mobility.
It's all interconnected, isn't it? Our minds and bodies are constantly influencing each other.
Exactly. So it's crucial to nurture our emotional well-being alongside our physical health. Stay connected with loved ones, engage in activities that bring you joy, and don't hesitate to seek professional support if you're struggling.
What a beautiful way to wrap up our conversation. It's about taking a holistic approach to aging, caring for our bodies, our minds, and our spirits.
It's about embracing this chapter of life with a sense of purpose, resilience, and joy. And remember, aging is not a decline. It's a journey of growth, wisdom, and continued discovery.
That's a wonderful message to leave our listeners with. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights with us today. I know I've learned so much, and I'm sure our listeners have too.
It's been my pleasure, and thank you to all of you for joining us on this deep dive into maintaining leg strength and mobility as we age. We hope you found this conversation informative and inspiring.
If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love for you to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful conversations about senior care.
And be sure to leave a comment below sharing your biggest takeaway from this episode. We love hearing from you and connecting with our amazing community.
Until next time, stay active, stay curious, and keep those legs strong.